Chapter 75. The Ruthless Meng. Pa, pa, snap. Gu Hai was high up in the sky, and as a son of a son of a son fell. The surrounding stumps scattered one by one, and soon, there were already 100 pieces scattered. Ding Rui struggled to curse, while looking at the high altitude with an ugly face. Gu Hai, even if you untie the knot, you won't get the dragon vein, Ding Rui said in a cold voice. Whether I get it or not, you old thing are dead. Imprisoning a whole master is a capital offense. Do you think you can avoid it? Gu Hai changed his voice to a cold chorus as he landed his pieces. A capital offense, HMPH. Since I dared to do this, naturally, I will be fine. It's you, Gu Hai. You haven't even become the Water Rudder Master completely yet. And you killed the Earth Rudder Master, Meng. Do you think that you can escape the rules of the One Piece Hall? There are people who guarantee that I'll be fine. What about you? You are also a capital offense, Ding Rui said in a cold voice. Someone bailed you out. Who? Long Wanqing steeply raised her eyebrows and said, First grade hall. She was the hall master. And there was someone who had more power than her. Gu Hai landed his pieces while glancing coldly at Ding Rui below, who was about to break free from the curse, and said in a cold voice, Servant Master Ding, you claimed that I killed Meng. What evidence do you have? Ha 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 ha, evidence, the innate remnant realm, everyone saw it. Ding Rui drank coldly. Is that so? Suppose Meng is still alive, Gu Hai said coldly. Ding Rui's face sank. Isn't it, Rudder Master Meng? How much longer are you going to hide? Gu Hai suddenly sneered. What? Long Wanqing's face changed. Wasn't Meng killed by Gu Hai? Below, the crowd of cultivators were also in an uproar. Boom! With a steep bang, Ding Rui broke free of the last trace of the curse under her feet, and in an instant, she was back as good as new. Ding! With a touch of the ancient zither, the sound of the zither suddenly stopped, and the surrounding sword chi suddenly disappeared into thin air. Rudder Master, a group of subordinates respectfully said. Leaning on her crutches, Ding Rui looked at the high sky with cold eyes. You said that Meng is still alive. Ha 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 ha, not too long ago. The Dafeng gang, didn't you just meet them? Gu Hai laughed out loud. Ding Rui's face was grim as she twisted her head to look around. The surrounding cultivators were also at a loss. Could it be that Meng of hiding amongst us? Not far away, Tu Shang Chess King was also looking around, as if he was also looking for Meng. Ha ha ha, Tu Shang Chess King. I'm not swindling Ding Rui this time. Since I'm here, why don't you recognize me? It's been a long time, hasn't it? The grudge between you and Servant Ding. It's time to end it, isn't it? There's a Hall Master standing here. You also want to rebel against the One Piece Hall, Gu Hai said in a cold voice. Sorta life Chess King. Everyone's gazes steeply looked away. It was Tu Shang Chess King's group of disciples, who also revealed a bewildered look. Ding Rui coldly looked at the Tu Shang Chess King. Gu Hai, how did you discover me? The Tu Shang Chess King spoke in a gloomy tone. What, Master? A group of the Tu Shang Chess King's disciples exclaimed in shock. However, they saw that the Sorta Life Chess King slowly lifted his hat, and it was none other than Meng. Who is he? Many cultivators revealed a bewildered look. After all, there was still some difference between the real Meng and the one killed by Gu Hai. Meng, it really is you, Ding Rui said with a gloomy face. High in the air, Gu Hai revealed a cold smile. Long Wanqing stood beside Gu Hai, looking at the stalemate with some concern. They didn't come up. That's for sure, but Ding Rui wanted me to crack it earlier. Isn't it the same to kill me early or late? Gu Hai sneered. But, don't worry, let them bite each other. This is a 20-year-old grudge, Gu Hai said coldly. You are Meng. What about my master? A group of Sorted Life Chess King's disciples exclaimed in shock. HMPH. Meng let out a cold snort and waved his probing hand. Boom! The crowd of Slaughter-Life Chess King's disciples instantly exploded. Ding Rui, what an imposing figure. But unfortunately, after 20 years, you don't seem to have changed anything. Still as ugly as ever. Huh. Meng Tai laughed coldly as he wrapped his arms around the black-robed woman in his arms. HMPH, you weren't my opponent back then. And you aren't today either, Ding Rui said in a cold voice. Probing her hand, her walking stick was violently erected and poked towards Meng Tai. Boom! A huge cane dangled straight up. Go! Meng Tai punched. Boom! The fist dangled above the palm dang, and in an instant, it slammed the staff dang back. Under a loud bang, a gale was kicked up in the surroundings, sending sand flying. Ding Rui took a step backwards. No, you were at most only a hair stronger than Li Wei back then. 20 years of torture. How did you increase your strength so much? Ding Rui's face changed and said. I was like this 20 years ago. Meng Tai said in a cold voice. Impossible. I was present at that time, 20 years ago. It was like this. How could you be captured by us so easily? How could you have been imprisoned? Ding Rui stared in disbelief. Suppose I did it on purpose, Meng Tai said in a cold voice. Deliberately, Ding Rui raised her eyebrows. If I hadn't been imprisoned by you, perhaps I would have been the same as the old hallmaster by now, Meng Tai said in a cold voice. What? Ding Rui's face changed. Long Wanqing high in the air also changed her face. The woman in Meng Tai's arms, however, her figure tightened as she looked towards Meng Tai. And although her expression could not be seen, she could feel the shock she felt at this moment. You already predicted the death of the old hallmaster back then. Ding Rui's face changed and said. It's not that I predicted it, but the signs have proved everything. Back then we were already under constant surveillance. I know too much. In front of that person, the old hallmaster would die, let alone me. I don't want to die. There is only one way, and that is to be controlled by you. You take orders from him. I was controlled by you. I was imprisoned by you. Only then did I escape his pursuit. 20 years. 20 years of hiding. And you are starting to be unsympathetic. Ha 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 ha. Meng Tai laughed coldly. Who is it? Who killed my mother? Long Wanqing glared at Meng Tai and roared. Meng Tai looked up at Long Wanqing and said, Hallmaster. It's not that I don't say, but I'm really not sure yet. I only know that there's a black hand behind this. The black hand never showed his face, but I can feel him. I don't know who he is, but Ding Rui might know. Ding Rui stared blankly at Meng Tai. High in the air, Gu Hai, who was in the middle of the fall, laughed coldly. In that case, Meng Tai, you didn't give up your resistance back then because your wife, Windbell, was restrained by Li Wei at all. Not because of Windbell at all. Windbell was just an excuse for you. The woman in Meng Tai's arms steeply trembled all over. The woman was naturally Windbell all along. Windbell had thought that Meng Tai had been restrained by Li Wei because of himself, and now she suddenly realized. Poor Windbell has been tortured for 20 years. You know it all, and you don't care. You're intentionally imprisoned, not just because you wanted to live, but because you needed to protect a secret. A secret that only you know, Gu Hai sneered. What secret? Ding Rui revealed a blank expression. Gu Hai, what do you know? Meng Tai said in a cold voice. Back then, the secret that black hand was searching for was not on the hallmaster's mother, but on you. And you sacrificed the hallmaster's mother in order to keep that secret. And you took this secret and hid it, deliberately being imprisoned, concealing it from everyone, from that black hand, from Li Wei, from the hallmaster's mother, from Ding Rui and all of them, Gu Hai said in a cold voice. Gu Hai, Meng Tai's face was gloomy. Ding Rui's brows were deeply locked in surprise as she watched the dialogue between Gu Hai and Meng Tai. What secret? Gu Hai, what is the secret? Something to do with my mother's death. What does it have to do with Meng Tai? Long Wanqing shouted in surprise. The secret is a person. The woman in Meng Tai's arms, wine chime. A key that can finally obtain the dragon vein. Gu Hai said in a cold voice. Everyone looked at the woman in Meng Tai's arms together. The woman in his arms, wrapped in a black robe, trembled violently. Meng Tai, so scheming, so ruthless, 20 years ago. Everyone was within your calculations. The old hallmaster valued you so much. For the sake of your own gains and losses, you can give up and let her die. In order to keep the secret, your wife, Wine Chime, can be surrendered to Li Wei for 20 years, letting her be tortured and indifferent. For the sake of the dragon vein, you can imprison your benefactor in the Dafeng gang. You can kill your sister. And more importantly, you were ruthless enough to yourself, for 20 years, deliberately imprisoned. Ha 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 ha. In the end, you think you control everything. No, you've always been a pawn, Gu Hai said in a cold voice. As he spoke, Gu Hai hugged Long Wanjing and steeply jumped towards the place of a white mist in front of him. What for? There are still 450 stumps are. Haven't solved this game of chess yet. Long Wanjing was surprised. Who said that you have to solve the game of chess in order to enter the world of chess? Gu Hai laughed. Who you? Steeply, Gu Hai hugged Long Wanjing and crossed that white mist area, disappearing abruptly. Not good. Ding Rui's face changed as she rushed up to the sky. Meng Tai, holding wine chimes in his arms, also instantly rushed up to the sky. Wow, the white mist from earlier abruptly burst apart. Boom. Ding Rui struck a cane on top of the boundary, but the boundary was azure and unmoving. Within the boundary, Gu Hai revealed a light smile as he looked upwards. Servant Ding, thank you for giving me time. Ha 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 ha. Laughing, Gu Hai slowly headed towards the dragon vein inside the boundary. Bastard, bastard Gu Hai, Ding Rui roared. Originally, when she confronted Meng Tai, she had hoped that Gu Hai would completely unlock the 29th heaven and earth vertical chess game. But who would have thought that Gu Hai would unlock half of it and be able to enter the chess world as well? Meng Tai, it's all because of you. Ding Rui looked at Meng Tai with an angry shout. Meng Tai looked at Ding Rui and revealed a cold smile. It's just your incompetence, Wine Chime. Let's go in. What? Ding Rui's eyes widened. Gu Hai was able to enter the chess world. That was because Gu Hai had comprehended the game and was able to find the entry point. You, Meng Tai, can do the same. Buzz. However, he saw that the moment Wind Bell touched the boundary, a peony flower halo suddenly appeared on his head, and the halo enveloped Wind Bell and Meng Tai in an instant. Who are you? As if they didn't need to care about the boundary at all, they just easily passed through. No. Ding Rui struck with a cane in shock and anger. Boom. The cane struck above the boundary, and the boundary loomed large. Key. The wind chime is the key that can pass through Elder Chess Watcher's boundary. Ding Rui's face changed wildly.